Is the U.S. waving the white flag when it comes to declaring our energy independence? Listen to President Obama during his recent trip to Brazil.
We want to help with technology and support to develop these oil reserves safely. And when you're ready to start selling, we want to be one of your best customers.
Hey, but should we buy more oil from overseas? Is that the goal? Instead of tapping into our own abundant resources? Joining us right now, Fox News military analyst, Lieutenant Colonel Bill Cowan. Elise Jordan's going to talk about it, too. She's former speechwriter for Condoleezza Rice. And Robert Zimmerman's here. He's a Democratic strategist. First off, Elise, were you disturbed to hear the president talk about how he's going to help Brazil explore their own resources, knowing we have so many unexplored resources
I think
here?
he can make a similar visit to the Gulf or to Alaska and talk about drilling offshore there versus, going down to Brazil and making that proclamation.
And we're actually going to help them with our cutting-edge technology fully realize their resource. In fact, listen to what the American people said, and then I'll talk to you, Colonel and Robert. Here's what they said. Are you for an increase of offshore drilling here in America? Favor, 60%. Oppose drilling, 37%. Is the president off message here, Robert?
Actually, the president's truly showing leadership on this issue. The reality is we have domestic oil drilling is the highest it's been in 7 years. But we consume 25% of the world's oil, and we only have 2% of the reserves in our own country. So either we're going to depend upon despots like Saudi Arabia or Venezuela, or we're going to form alliances with strong, stable democracies like Brazil. But the real issue is not whether we're oil dependent, and I don't support any strategy that keeps us oil dependent. The real issue is whether the right wing will get over their hypocrisy of advocating energy and oil independence, but still doing everything in Congress they can to make sure we rely upon oil as our only resource.
All I know is this. There were 55 platforms working a year ago. Now only 25 are back. Even Bill Clinton, Colonel Cowan, has said it is shameful that we're not drilling. 9,000 people out of work in the Gulf, and the president's investing in Brazil.
The president's talking to three different audiences at the same time, Brian. He's talking to the American public as a whole, saying we have energy problems, we have labor problems, we have economy problems. That's the big message to all Americans. At the same time, he's pandering to the base on the left and to the environmentalists, saying, but I'm not going to let us do anything here within our own country to develop oil. And he's talking to the foreigners by saying, we love you.
The real issue, Bill, is that we cannot allow ourselves to have an oil-only energy strategy. And the Republican Congress has cut funding for every alternative source except for oil. In fact, now they're trying to dismantle the Environmental Protection Agency, so they're trying to prohibit them from testing for greenhouse gas emissions, or for that matter, testing even for clean water standards.
Well, they're doing some wildcatting of their own over the EPA, so I think the House is trying to rein them in, right, Elise?
Well, what I'm confused about this is why he proclaims that it's okay to drill in Brazil and that it's environmental degradation in the entire world.
But we have 2%.
But it's okay. But it's not okay in the U.S. So I just don't understand why he.
That's not what he's saying. In fact, we're record high domestic drilling, highest in 7 years, but we only have 2% of the reserves. So either we form alliances with trusted allies like Brazil, or we're depending upon Saudi Arabia. It's your choice.
But Robert, if we maximize our own oil use, we wouldn't need anybody else's oil. But too many environmental regulations, we can't move forward with it.
Protecting the environment is not the enemy here. Relying upon oil is what's hurting our.
The caribou don't mind. They love the pipelines.
I'm worried about the air I breathe, not the caribou.
We're breathing fine. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Colonel Bill Cowan, Elise Jordan, and Robert Zimmerman, stay right here because we're talking a little bit about not the war in Libya, but the humanitarian effort in Libya. We'll be talking about all that when we come back right here on Fox and Friends.